Hey, I'm Russell Peters, your new host of Speakeasy, and we are here today with the lovely Constance Wu from Fresh Off the Boat, ABC's Fresh Off the Boat, and we are going to have a beverage and talk.
Cheers.
Cheers, you didn't look at me. I mean,
Is that bad luck?
I think so. It's something about bad sex. I don't know, if, it's not you and me, just in general.
Oh, I gave you bad sex. In the future. Yeah.
Our future sex is going to be horrible.
I've already cursed you with bad sex.
That's fine.
For the rest of your run.
You know, what are you going to do? I can't have everything in
What are you
life.
going to do? You're not going to do good sex. That's what I'm telling
Dude,
you.
I'm going to be lousy in this. I'm just going to fall asleep. Get on top. I hope your parents don't ever watch this. That's what
I don't think they will.
Your Taiwanese parents watching
My
this.
Taiwanese parents, they hardly go on the internet.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
What do they do?
My dad is a biology professor, and my mom used to be a computer programmer, and now she's sort of is not.
Your dad's a biology professor? Yeah, so you had a lot of scholastic upbringing.
No, I didn't. Here's the thing. My dad never talked about his work, like at all. So I didn't realize how cool he was until I was an adult. And I would just ask him stuff about like...
And you just knew the answers?
Well, no, just about like what he was doing and why he was going to these places. He's like, oh yeah, no, I just published these articles on like whatever. And they're not... they're papers that don't go in like everyday American science magazines because they're articles that you can't understand unless you're a scientist.
Yeah, so it's
peer review, I think, is what he called it.
Right.
And then if you ask him things about like GMOs and all that kind of stuff, he knows way more than the infographics you see on Facebook.
You know, I think immigrant parents always have that pressure on their kids to study hard and go to college or university and be something. They didn't leave where they came from, so we can come here and just become lazy American kids.
No,
You know?
not mine.
No, they didn't give you any pressure?
No.
But they kind of, I mean, I guess you probably got good grades, I'm hoping.
I got the worst grades out of my whole family. I got 3 sisters, which were still decent grades.
Yeah, I would imagine, because I know I was a terrible student.
I was like B+.
Oh yeah, I was never that high.
I definitely got C's a couple of times.
Yep, nope, I never.
You never even got a C?
C was a high mark for me. Like if I got a C, I'd be over the moon.
Where'd you go to school though?
In Brampton, in Canada.
Oh, I don't know the school system.
It's not that the school system was that bad. I was just a horrible student.
A friend of mine, he went to 3 different high schools in 3 different states. And he said that like the high school he went to in Florida, it was hard for him not to get A's.
Oh, okay, because it was easy.
It was so easy. And then
Right.
he went to a high school in Virginia, where I'm from. And he said like it was really hard to even get a B there.
But it makes sense. I mean, you know, there's always the joke that the southern states their education system may not be.
Yeah, but Virginia's considered part of the South.
I mean, it depends on what part of Virginia, right? Isn't that where the
That's true.
line is there somewhere, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It's like being hot at the equator. I don't know
that
I don't even know if that's true. I made that up. It just seemed like that made sense in my
It
head.
doesn't make any sense.
You know, we get to the equator on
It's
either
like-
side, it's gonna be hot.
What is
I don't know, I made that up.
So basically saying on either side, north or south
Yeah.
of that
If you're right- if you're
Mason-Dixon
right- if you're
line,
right there.
it's going to be hot. So I noticed
Yes,
when they
you
were
did.
fixing your mic, your chest hair.
Yes, I'm old school. This is how they
Well-
used to build men.
With hairy chest?
With hairy chest.
But you're also new school in that I can tell from the growth pattern that you shave.
I trimmed it actually this morning
For me?
for you. I didn't want to be, you know, all wiry.
But you know, the big difference, speaking of shaving chest hair, is that like, I feel like a lot of Asians, myself included, are quite
Completely hairless.
hairless.
Yes,
Like
you're
I
very
don't.
fortunate.
Well, I get one.
Yeah.
It's not there. I get one right here, and I'm like,
And do you pluck
what?
it?
Yeah, because I'm like, why are
It
you
just looks
even
out of
there?
place.
Yeah, and my dad has hairless legs.
Yeah, my dad had
So do
completely
I.
shiny, hairless legs.
It's like a dolphin.
But you know, the good thing with a lot of Asian people, they don't have a lot of, you don't ever meet an Asian person with BO. I think it's because of the lack of that body hair.
I think you meet them.
I-
My mom used to say to me, like, don't use deodorant. Asian people don't need deodorant. I'm like, yes, we do. Or antiperspirant.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be the end of me. Antiperspirant and Splenda. Those are
I
the
love
unnatural
Splenda.
things in my body
Oh
that
yeah,
are
your
going
dad's
to
a
kill me.
biologist. Does he tell you about all that?
He doesn't know I do it. He's not like, what are you putting in your coffee,
You're like
young
a
lady?
Splenda. Don't look.
Taking shots
You're like a
of Splenda.
fiend. What are you doing in there? What is that white powder? It's
It's just a
cocaine.
non-calorie sweetener, okay?
It's cocaine. That's fine as long as it's not Splenda.
That's exactly how my dad
Have
is.
you tried
about
the
cocaine?
stevia?
Cocaine?
No, God, no. Not with this nose.
Comedians never do cocaine.
I was never a drug guy ever. I actually never started drinking until I was 30 years old.
I didn't start drinking till I was like 22.
It's one of those things where it's like I grew into it.
And I feel like when you're like 18 and you try beer, you still have taste buds that are like, I want
Coke.
something sweet.
Yeah.
And then your taste buds haven't developed that like the taste for alcohol.
Yeah, my first drink was very fruity and sweet, and then
Yeah, I think
and
mine
then
was
I
too.
got on a very sugary beverage diet at that
Yeah,
time.
but then now, just move on just straight
Straight
Scotch.
tequila.
Yeah.
What are you drinking today, by the way?
This is a Manhattan. It's a perfect Manhattan.
Perfect Manhattan. What makes it perfect?
Well, what actually makes it perfect is it has both dry vermouth and sweet vermouth. But some bartenders, like in some places that aren't like fancy, don't know that. So when you say I want a perfect Manhattan, they just think you're a jerk who's like, I want a flawless Manhattan. And I'm always like, should I say like perfect as in both dry and sweet vermouth? But then I'm like insulting them because then
But
I'm
if you see them-
assuming they don't know. But then I don't want them to think that I'm like asking for like, it's like, I gotta
Did
change
you ever
the
see
name
them
for that.
not doing it and then you just yelled at them? You can't handle
No,
vermouth."
I just sort of cringe. I'm like, oh, they're not doing it. I should have just said something.
Yeah, should just had a Cosmo.
Oh, God. Who's your favorite comedian
Of all time,
of all time?
George Carlin.
Okay.
Yours?
Louis C.K.
Yeah.
That's just such an easy answer, right? But it's true.
He's great.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he shouldn't be anybody's favorite comic.
Were you're the one who did that stand-up bit about the Chinese kid
I've done a few stand-up bits about Chinese people.
and the N-word?
Oh yeah, about yeah, I did that.
Yeah. I disagreed with you on that.
You disagree with me?
Yeah, because I feel like the pronunciation
Yeah, you got to manipulate the pronunciation.
to get it to be that bad word. Where I'm from in Taiwan, or my family's from, it's that same word, but it's pronounced like naga,
Yeah.
which doesn't sound
It's not
like.
that far off. I mean, when
Naga?
if you don't understand anything coming out of somebody's mouth, right? If all
I
you
feel
hear,
it sounds more like a chicken nugget.
if everything you hear is just a sound to you, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then you hear one thing that sounds like a word that you recognize, you're gonna be
Maybe.
like, da-da-da-da.
We should explain for people
Okay,
what
so-
we're saying so that like people watching this.
I used to do this. I used to tell this story about being in Beijing, and it's funny because like rapper friends of mine hit me up like, "Yo, that happened to me when I was in China. I thought the same shit." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "See." But the only people that could really challenge it would be Chinese people
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
But we don't. So if you're to the untrained ear, it just sounds like so they say this word when they're speaking. It's like a way of
It's a
saying,
filler
but
word. But
and,
you know.
Yeah, it's like
a filler word.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and what's the actual word?
I say naga,
Right. And in
but
Beijing,
in Beijing
they say
or
nei, nega.
nega,
Yeah.
and they might even add a harder R sound on the end,
I
depending
never
on
heard
where
an
they're
R,
from.
but it was always nega.
Yeah.
And so they were talking like, nega, nega.
And it's like they're saying,
Yeah,
but
and I'm like, what are they doing? Well, how come China is so racist? And then turns out I was
and
wrong.
then but you learned something.
I
though.
did.
So there
I did.
you go.
I learn a lot of Cantonese when I go to Hong Kong.
Oh.
I find Mandarin the more difficult language for me.
Really?
Yes. And most Chinese people are like, no, Mandarin's the easier one.
Well, I think Mandarin has less tones than Cantonese.
That's what I like
so-
about the Cantonese. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the words seem so different from each other.
I had to speak Cantonese for a thing I did this summer, and I'd never spoken it before.
Really?
Whatever.
But you could read what they write. Not
No,
you
because I
particularly,
can't. But yeah, but a Cantonese speaking person and a Mandarin speaking person could probably read the same
Oh, that's good.
written thing.
So they could just text each other. Constance,
Yes, Russell.
you are a very good actress, and you're known for your serious roles.
I'm not actually. I used to do serious roles, but in like indie dramas that nobody ever heard of, because
Right.
unless you're like into like the indie mumblecore scene. But my biggest job to date is Fresh Off the Boat, which happens to be a network sitcom.
Which you play, Jessica.
Jessica Huang, yes, who is a Taiwanese American mother of 3 boys, and she's a funny lady.
Yeah.
I had to study up on my comedy to like learn how to make it funny.
It's there. I mean, it's not like I haven't seen you had to work at being funny today.
Well, you
just
didn't
were.
meet me 2 years ago.
Oh, were you shitty?
Well, I mean, I tell jokes like, okay, what happened to the frog who was illegally parked?
What happened?
He got towed. See, that was my brand of humor.
I like it.
Yeah, and I had to like grow out of that.
Yeah, well, you don't have to tell jokes. You just have to be funny. I don't tell jokes.
You don't have to tell any more
jokes. Nobody needs to tell jokes. It's funny because when you see somebody tell a good joke, you're like, wow, that's a real talent. Like, I don't know how to tell a joke properly.
Yeah,
I know the ones I like are always really too long. You're like, get to it already. I'm like, I'm getting there. Give me a second.
In addition to the joke being good, has to do with your likability factor with the person telling the joke.
Right.
Which in Fresh Off the Boat, it's like a hard thing to straddle because it's like, in many ways, my character could be very unlikable because she's like really harsh. And I have to like make her likable by motivating that harshness from like a really kick-ass place.
I always say that you can say whatever you want if you smile at the end.
Give me an example, Russell.
I'll give you an example. I'll show you 2 ways of telling somebody to fuck off.
Okay.
Okay? Here's the real way. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Okay.
So somebody could tell you that and you'd be like, I don't think he meant it. So
No, I do that. I'd be like, oh, shut the fuck up. I hate you. You're the worst.
Yeah, but really,
smile.
but inside you're like, oh my God, I got to tell him I hate him. And then, you know.
But I would want them to get it.
Would you?
Like, if I really did hate them, like, I'm like a dog. In that,
Just bark at people you don't like?
If I love you, like a dog, I love you, and I'm like all over you. But if I don't like somebody, dog, you know, they just sort of walk away.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool not being here, and then I just go away.
Yeah, I don't like confrontation either. I'm not.
Just walk, but
Yeah,
but
I
I
will
feel like
avoid it. I
walking
will just walk
away is
away.
its own kind of confrontation because they obviously see you, like they come next to you and you're like, I'm just walking away.
Well, I
Like
don't
a
make
dog.
it that obvious.
I do.
I just kind of, I'll pull out my phone like, oh, yeah, I gotta go. I got a message or something.
My phone's better than you.
Yeah. Do you take pictures of food when you eat?
I don't. It's very un-Asian of me, but I
I don't either. I don't.
Because I'm too busy eating it.
Yeah, I don't want the picture. I want to eat the damn food.
Yeah.
What is your favorite food?
I actually like Thai chicken curry a lot. Like a red curry.
I do
coconut milk.
enjoy the Thai chicken curry. I mean, I like the Thai curries as an Indian. Even I'm like, that's some good
It's
stuff.
a different kind of curry,
It
but
is
it's
very different, but it's good.
And I grew up with Japanese curry. I'm not Japanese,
No.
but my parents are Taiwanese, and Japan had an occupation in Taiwan for a
Japan
time.
did a lot of stuff back in the day.
So there are there are Japanese influences. So I remember we had like Japanese curry, which is good, but I still love Thai.
Yeah, they have a big whole movement in Japan with the Japanese curries, and they make their whole goal is to make them as hot as possible. David Cho took me to a place in
Is he
Santa
the one
Monica.
that does Momofuku?
He's the artist.
Oh, I'm thinking of another chef.
He does drawings and paintings and
Okay.
graffiti and
Cool.
He's just he's a real dude. He's one of those fearless guys you'll meet in life. And I go, I can't do that. You know, I used to box and I can handle that. But
You can box?
I did for 9 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I can do that. But when it comes to like just being a shit disturber, I can't do it to the level he does it. He's gone to Japan. I think he's even been in jail in Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in jail?
When I was like 17,
For what?
the cop was being a dick.
You went to jail for the cop being a dick.
Well-
that actually sounds about right.
Yeah, it was. I was being mouthy to the cop.
Yeah, but like,
But it wasn't
that's
like-
not illegal.
No, like a friend got into a fight, and then they were gonna arrest my friend. But he had
Did you
my.
stand up for your friend? Because that's
Well, yeah,
so nice
he had my
of you
jacket
to.
on, and I go, "Hey, can I just get my jacket? That's my jacket. What's in your jacket?" I go, "What do you mean? What's in my jacket? It's my jacket.
Yeah.
I'm 17. I don't have anything in my jacket.
Yeah.
My bank book is in my jacket.
And
Remember
then,
when you had a bank book?
Wait, and then he arrested
she.
you? Or she arrested you?
Yeah,
for that?
and then she's like, "Step back," and I go, "I just want my jacket. What's so important with your jacket? It's my jacket. That's what's so important about it, and my bank book." And then she hit me in the chest with her billy club, and I was like, "The fuck is wrong with you?" And then she threw me in the back of the car.
Where was this?
It's in Canada, and then drove me
in
to
Canada.
drove me to the station, put me in the holding cell for about an hour. But fortunately, I lived across the street from the police station, so
Did they have to,
she
like,
kind of
pay
gave me a
to-
ride home at the same time.
And then you like asked her out on a date.
No, I was just like, "Hey,
No.
thanks for the ride. I'm just gonna go home now."
Oh, did you get in big trouble for that?
No, because I never called my parents.
Your parents don't even know.
No, I told them like years later.
Oh.
They didn't believe me, so I was like, okay.
But you're good at smiling and saying fuck you at
That's
the same
correct.
time.
Constance, do your friends call you Connie?
Never.
Does anybody?
No.
Have they wanted to?
Once, an AD called my hotel room to give me my call time for the next day and asked for Connie.
Connie Wu?
And I said, there's no one here by that name, and I hung the fuck up. I was in a bad mood.
Yeah.
But then she called back and she was like, Constance. I was like, yeah, this is Constance. She's like, your call time is 6 a.m. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, well, that made it worse that they made your call time 6 a.m. It was probably like 9. They were like, hey, you know what? She just hung up on me.
Probably.
She can get here at fucking 6.
Yeah, that is probably true. But yeah, no, it's just Constance.
Constance Wu.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Continued success, as they say.
Thank you.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
And you guys can watch Constance on Fresh Off the Boat on ABC every Tuesday at 8:30. Second season now.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're still shooting. Mm-hmm. So I'm available.
We'll be in touch.
Story arc, whatever. I'm down.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Because I could pitch you.
Pitch the hell out of
I've
me.
pitched friends.
I'm down.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I don't care who I play. I'll play him. Whatever. All right, here, you ready? Leader, mind, honesty, and 1999 Oldsmobile Cutlass.
You know, the other day, I was driving around in my 1999 Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Stop bragging.